Collingwood football manager has been good enough to join us. Welcome to you, Jeff. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, mate.
Just when we thought there wasn't a lot of big footy news floating around in this lean kind of week, you dropped somewhat of a bombshell. Why now and where?
Well, we're nowhere other than take some time out and perhaps do a little bit of travel. And why now? I suppose you're right in terms of alluding to that there's no real good time in footy, I suppose, because there's always a week that can't do it because of this, can't do it because of that. Footy's all-consuming, so there's probably never a good time. But I think, as I've said a number of times today, when your head and your heart takes you to the right spot, that this is or the same spot rather, that this is the right thing to do. And it's time for me to have a look at whatever else life offers, because footy is a business that's not only under so much scrutiny, but it's all consuming. And after 29 years working in footy, you think, oh well, there might actually be something outside that bubble.
I take you on face value that you haven't done a deal with anybody else, Jeff, and I also believe that if you are going to stay in footy, it's almost impossible to make a decision to join somebody else and get yourself a rest. You sound like you're pretty weary and you need a rest, and perhaps sometimes you can't make a good decision unless you clear your head.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I didn't realise I sounded that tired, but you're probably right, Jared. You need to clear your head on if you are going to make any sort of rational decisions about whatever your future does hold, and you're exactly right. There's no deals or not even any thought of that. Whether my future lies in footy or without or outside of footy, I don't know, but. Certainly, the decision's been made without any encumbrances of saying, well, okay, what have I got or what is around the corner? I genuinely don't know.
Strategically, though, you do know that there are a couple of clubs out there looking, which is handy. I guess you know that there is going to be some demand in the market. But tell us about your job in particular. I've spoken to people in your position, and yours is one of those 24/7 jobs that the phone call can go at any time of the day, and it can also, from my understanding, be fairly taxing dealing with player managers all the time.
Yeah, you're right on both counts there. And I explained it to someone today to say that life in admin or in a footy department in particular is such that you can drive to work on a Monday morning, any morning really, with a list of 5 or 10 things that you need to achieve for that week, but then that phone call can derail everything, and everything gets put aside, or everything else gets put aside to deal with that issue. Particularly if it's a player issue that someone's got into strife, or it's a tribunal or a high-profile incident on field, everything gets put aside for that time to try and solve that particular issue or get an outcome for that issue. So that's a regular occurrence in footy, and it's become a business that is pretty draining emotionally in terms of the scrutiny, and I'm talking about from the players' side of things, but people like myself who are involved outside the playing, you get wound up in that, and you get caught up in that, and you get involved in all sorts of ways. So I really am honestly looking forward to, as I say, a bit of a break, and then as I say, I think I'm young enough that I know I still need to work. So we'll just see what happens from there on.
One of those issues is Harry O'Brien. It has been front and centre, I guess, for the last few weeks for the club, front and centre in the media for a few days, but I'm not sure if you're still in a capacity to talk about it as Collingwood footy manager, but where's he at?
Well, not in the capacity as a Collingwood footy manager, but certainly I would think that that Harry has made great progress is the right word in terms of resuming his status as an integral part of the Collingwood footy team. I would think that I know he's trained particularly well in the last 5 to 7 days, and looking out from the outside in, I'd be surprised if he didn't resume his spot in the team this week. I think he's ready.
Does the doctor need to tick off on him? Does the doctor need to make an assessment for you to be able to allow him to play?
Oh, look, certainly. And again, as I say, this is not an official comment because I've now left that role, so I'm not privy in the last 24 hours to what has been taking place, but I would expect that in the situation that Harry's been through, that, and I know that our club doctor, has been in constant contact with him and has been a great source of, I won't say inspiration, but he's been, Harry's relied upon on Peter McQueen as our club doctor to guide him through what's been a difficult time. So I'm positive that Peter would have some sort of role to play in talking to the match committee about Harry's readiness to return to play.
Jeff, you've had a great time at Collingwood. If you had to write a book about your time at Collingwood, what would be the best and easiest chapter that you'd like to write, and what would be the most difficult?
Probably the best and easiest chapter is when you're involved in the ultimate team success, and I was lucky enough to be involved in the 2010 premiership. So that'd be the best and the easiest. The hardest, I did probably volumes 2, 3, and 4, I suppose. We could, but I'm being facetious there. But look, you guys would well empathise with this. Footy, it's a great environment, and I just feel privileged to have been involved with a club like Collingwood and to have been lucky enough to be there in a time when they've had some success and still look at that team and say the window's wide open there for some future success. So it'd be easy to write the good chapters, Jared, there's no doubt.
Yeah, and I guess the great news is that no one ever pinched his car park.
Jeff, thanks a lot for your time. It's been great to have you, and who knows, he might end up being a football manager for his own son. If he gets that kicking contract, Jeff, you'll be over in the States, won't you?
Yeah, exactly. I'll be riding on the back of that, I hope, Dwayne, for sure.
Let's hope he makes it over there.
Get over there before the dollar plummets.
As a kicker in the NFL. What a great sideline that would be. Jeff, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Dwayne. Thanks, Jared.